joined now by Grant Mourre of SPC Nickel. And Grant, let's start with the latest news on your flagship Muskox Project in Nunavut. Tell us about these highly conductive electromagnetic targets you've identified.
Yeah, so this is part of the this summer's program that we did up there. Earlier we had talked about our surface sampling results that we had out, and this is the next step in the work that we did. So we completed a 1,400 line kilometer airborne electromagnetic survey on the entire Muskox intrusion, which this should represent kind of the first modern airborne survey in over 20 years. So it was exciting to get that done. And what we're seeing from the data is a lot of really good, strong EM conductors. I think we initially identified almost 800 anomalies that when we do some filtering on that, we're still left with a big number of almost 500 anomalies across this massive property. But from that, there's probably a couple hundred that would fall into the really strong to good anomalies. And that's exciting. It goes along with with what we see on surface, which is mineralization all over the place. So this validates that, and now our next step is to kind of really dig through the data and these anomalies and determine which ones are drill-ready targets and which ones need additional groundwork to further define and refine.
Can you remind us about other highlights from your 2025 exploration at Muskox and how it's all coming together to help you figure out where to prioritize along this very long 125-kilometer intrusion?
Yeah, so in past years, we've really only done kind of groundwork with sampling and mapping it and kind of geological observations. And this year was the first year where we actually were able to get some new modern geophysical data, which is the key step towards moving towards basically drilling, which is next on the list for us. So this gives us new data. That's our data. We have had a lot of historical data that we have within this database, but this is brand new state-of-the-art data that's going to allow us to generate what we believe are going to be really high quality drill targets.
And turning now to the Lockerby East project in Ontario, because you have also been pretty active there this year. Could you take us through those highlights?
Yeah, we started drilling at the Lockerby East property about a month and a half ago. We have wrapped up drilling now. Those samples just got sent off to the lab, and hopefully in early in 2026, we'll have the results out from that drilling.
So moving into 2026, can you summarize for us again, please, those key points for both of these projects and the timelines we're looking at?
Yeah, our most of our efforts are going to be put on the Muskox project, and that'll start early in 2026 with the planning for a field program. Because it is a remote property, it does take a lot of logistics to get ready for a field season. So, my hope is that we will be back up on the property next year. I would like to be doing additional ground geophysical work, so following up on these conductors that we've identified. We still have a Airborne MT survey that's in the works that we haven't released any data on that yet, but ultimately leading towards refining and developing the best drill ready targets that we can. And we're going about it in a fairly methodical way, but I think that's the best approach to making sure that when we do drill on that property, we are drilling the best targets that we can come up with.
Well, Grant, I definitely look forward to getting you back soon with those results coming in, and we will be nagging you to see if we can do live crosses to those project sites, particularly Muskox in Nunavut, because I'm sure that's a very striking landscape you're working in.
Yeah, it's a spectacular place in Canada for sure.